This is Sam Daly of Cultural Group Benefit Company, a group life insurance designed for cultural associations. We've done this program now for 21 years. The program is approved in 46 states. It's a group life insurance program. I want to emphasize it's a group life insurance program for cultural association, guaranteed without any pre-existing medical conditions. Please, cultural community, there's no need for GoFundMe. We have a program designed for cultural association. Please, if you want to know more about this program, visit our website, www.culturalgroupbenefits.com, or call me directly, 763-593-5107. Thank you.
Hot mix mixing.
Hello everyone, hello in Africa and all the diaspora around the world. Today it is March 12, 2022, and we are going to give you guys updates on what is going on currently in the world, especially with the war in UK, Russia and the Ukrainian war, and also touch base on what we had talked about last week on our last show. About the military coups in Africa and the revolutionary that is taking place in Africa. So I'm just going to recap some of the things that we have talked about, and we're going to continue this topic part 2 next weekend as well with our guest that joined us last week with some of the really important updates that a lot of us needed to hear, or at least just have a dialogue and exchange ideas and what we think and what the other people think of. To hopefully find a way to be helpful in this case. So on February 24th, as you guys remember, was the time the war had begun. This was the time Russia decided to invade Ukraine. And right now it has been 14 days since the war. And a lot has happened since the 14 days of the war. And with that starting to take place and a lot of the things that are increasing as well, we're going to start on with the refugees that are taking place. Most of the Ukrainians are leaving their countries. Thousands of them have left their countries to the neighboring country in Poland. And also, people in Russia are also leaving their country as well due to the sanctions that are going really hard on Russia right now. There are some few quotes that I will share with you guys. So with the sanctions that are taking on with Russia, Vladimir Putin is a pretty tough guy, I would say. I would say he's a pretty tough guy. Most of the people that are being affected are the civilian in the country as well. You have regular citizens that are no longer able to use their credit card, debit card, Master, Visa, and etc. And that also affects some of the things that we're used to in our latest with the technology, like Apple, iPhone, Androids, social media, and also staying connected around the world. A lot of people are not able to use their material as much as anymore due to the sanction. And it's hard for the next generation or this generation to get used to the transition of having to live in a wartime zone now, I would say. Going from a technology age and everything that we see as normal now has completely shifted, just going back to many years back. And these are some of the challenges people are facing in Russia as well as a citizen. So a lot of them are going to neighbor countries as well, so then they can still be able to have access to the things that they normally have in their life. And not only that, the elite, the people who are in the upper class, the rich people, are also getting affected by it as well. Some of the sanction has affected some of the yachts and businesses there as well, and the money circulation as well. So it's not just the middle class or the poor people that are feeling this as well, but it's also the upper class and the rich people that are feeling this as well. And what will happen next? Will they move out of Russia? Will they relocate their companies? Will they go to their neighboring countries, or have UK have really divided to stand alone and not get involved in a lot of these things? There's a huge division going on in UK as well. Not many are happy with the war that Russia is doing right now. And also, not a lot of people are speaking out on defending Ukraine as well. Most of them are just basically staying out of it. Because the biggest fear of it is that this could lead to something else. This could lead to much greater war, and also affecting other countries as well. And that's how usually the war started. So when one country is invaded, the next side-eye the other country and see, can I do the same thing? And a lot of these have a lot to do with lands, and also control and power on some of the lands as well. With Russia trying to take back Ukraine, and also Ukraine pushing their land into Russia as well. A lot of those can cause a lot of issues and conflict. Now, going on, a hospital was bombed, which was a very sad tragedy. It was a very sad tragedy that took place in Ukraine. In this hospital is the maternity ward, where there was a lot of women, children, newborn. It was bombed a few days ago by the Russian forces as well. That's one of the devastating news that is going on around right now in all media outlets. And one child has been announced dead, while many has been injured as well. Now, with U.S. refusing to deliver some of their support to the Ukraine to defend themselves, this includes some of the military lethal weapon that has been contributed to Ukraine by some of the other countries in UK as well. Kamala Harris made a trip to Poland in Warsaw. They just had a meeting recently, and some of the lethal weapons were agreed that they would be taken to the U.S. Air Force Center, then they would take it to Ukraine from there. And that has not taken place, and USA is backing out on it as well. And also, Kamala was asked one of the very interesting questions: with millions of refugees that are in Poland right now, they asked Kamala if USA would take some of the refugees as well. There's a lot of backslash towards her, with her giggling and laughing that she has been doing throughout the whole entire presidency. And we're still waiting for an answer on that. Will USA take some of the Ukrainians refugee as well? Now, with the NATO allies, they're still working on whether they are still going to support Ukraine. And that's one of the promises Ukraine has been waiting for a very long time, is to be part of the NATO allies. And if that had happened a while back, maybe this war would not have escalated as far as it did. And there are other countries as well that are still seeking to be a part of the NATO allies, like Georgia and Taiwan and other minor countries as well, that could easily be invaded by the major countries like Russia and China. Meanwhile, here in America, how is all of this affecting us? That's something that we could sit and think on as well. The inflation are going up, the gas prices going up. That's something we've all seen so far since before the war even started. It started off as like $3 to $4 a gas, and now the gas price is going up to almost past $4, up to $5. In some states, $6 as well. And this is really affecting the civilians here in the U.S. as well. And a lot of it has a lot to do with, with the economy going down, and everything that, we didn't think was going to come to pass has now come to pass. And so what did that say going forward? Some of the report have shown that this can be a 40-year-long inflation. That is a huge ruin for this generation. It's another struggle to try to have a stable life and also try to maintain a regular life financially here in the U.S. as well. Not only U.S., around the world. with all the gas and the oil battles that were given to Russia, and now it backfired. It backfired to the people here in the USA. And how will all of that change, or how will all of that be fixed, or what can we expect in the next 10 years to 40 years? I can only say be prepared. We can only be prepared to do better in life. We can only be prepared to maintain what we have and be there for one another, you know. So as long as we support one another, be there for one another, we could probably survive this, you know. We could probably survive this, because the solo life that we know and the independent life that we know, with prices going up really, really high, is much challenging. It is much challenging. I mean, imagine all the people living in the middle class and lower, and especially in the poverty, the people that are in the poverty line. How will they survive this inflation? And more homelessness is on a rise here in the United States as well. So the United States has been hit greatly. And even if we were to have a new president in the near future, it's going to be a huge toll to bring America back to normal. And with this war, we don't know how far it's going to go out, where it's going to stretch. But more updates each week as we come back. Now, going on to the military coups in Africa. If you guys watched our last live streams, we had Paulo, who joined us last week, to add some of the input. And I hope you guys were able to capture a lot of what is going on in Africa, and what are some of the keynotes that we should pay attention to. And we talked about freedom of democracy. So with Africa, this could be a turning point of the revolutionary taking place. And in our past couple of years, many years back, we have seen leaders just sitting in their leadership for many years without giving the next generation a chance to take over, or to take power, or to pull in their policies. And a lot of them could be, policies need to be changed and updated, because once we start seeing the same pattern happening in Africa for so many years, and there's not a rise in the economic or the people living a better life, it shows that there's a lot of unbalance that's been taking place. And many of these youth and the civilian of the country has had enough. And our job here as the diaspora is to continue to be the voice for them as well, is to help them speak for them as well. Because many of them there in the country, it is hard to speak up. It is hard to fight for your freedom. A lot of time, no matter how hard you try, you will be gunned down. And you could lose your life. You're basically taking a risk for your family as well. These are some of the things that we covered, and some of the questions that I has asked in the last live stream. And we're going to continue with the part 2 next weekend, touching up on how does the colonial still play in the ideology, in the mindset that we have in Africa as well. How can we get rid of that? How can we remove that ideology first before we can actually think about our country and our ruler and the way that we think as well in Africa? And not only that, the leaders that are selected by the Western world, and including USA as well, that has been put in the chair, how will they be shifted from the country as well? How will that leadership end as well? Will the foreign affair continue to select the leaders but change the policy, or will the leaders stand up and have dignity and integrity for their countries there in Africa? These are some of the things we're going to touch base back on again. And these are the things that are happening in Africa that we don't question as much, but they are happening and they are rising up to the surface. With this war happening in UK, many people are talking about it, and we don't know how it's going to affect the rest of the world. Could this be a complete change to the whole entire world? Have we been living a complete system of greed and selfishness, and all these times we had our head in the sand, we just never really wanted to acknowledge or see it? But once we come to acknowledge and see all of it, maybe this could be the final turning point for the rest of the world. Maybe this is the time that we could finally live a life that we all want in the world. Thank you and have a wonderful night.
This is Sam Daly of Cultural Group Benefit Company, a group life insurance designed for cultural association. We've done this program now for 21 years. The program is approved in 46 states. It's a group life insurance program. I want to emphasize it's a group life insurance program for cultural association, guaranteed without any pre-existing medical conditions. Please, cultural community, there's no need for GoFundMe. We have a program designed for cultural association. Please, if you want to know more about this program, visit our website, www.culturalgroupbenefits.com, or call me directly, 763-593-5107. Thank you.
Hot mix mixing.